All right, guys. This is another one. After watching the trial today, Amber Heard took the stand. There's a lot that could be said there. I found it curious as she recounts these stories, how the not at one tear fell as she's telling you saw it. Well, if you didn't see it, listen, not a tear fall fell. So I thought it might be important that we go back and actually listen to what she said back in 2016, not long after these incidents supposedly took place, and how she acted when she was asked questions back in her deposition. Now, remember, she's on trial now in front of a jury. Those cameras are on her, and there she's just sitting in a room with her attorneys and then Depp's attorneys. So just pay attention to how she behaves in these. I don't know if the one where she's asked about her relationship with the other woman and that whole arrest or not, but if not, we'll listen to it. But I want you to hear this. I think it's important. I might have to crank the audio up on it, so I'm getting ready to do that. So I might have to back it up and go again just to make sure you guys can hear it. But we're gonna hear it. Here it is.
6:18 p.m. and we're back home.
And just a clarification, we're not going to invoke the Fifth Amendment privilege, so you can re-ask that question if you like.
Which question?
Did you commit domestic violence against Johnny Depp?
Anytime prior to...
So if you didn't catch that, he just said, okay, we're not going to invoke the Fifth Amendment. So you can go ahead and ask that question. So what they tried to do when she was asked this is invoke the Fifth to not incriminate herself.
May 22nd, 2016, did you ever commit an act of domestic violence against Johnny Depp?
Calls for a legal conclusion and irrelevant, but go ahead.
Do you understand what I'm asking you?
No.
No?
Yes, I understand what you're asking
Okay.
me.
And prior to May 21, 2016, or May 22, 2016, is it your testimony that you never committed any act of what would be considered domestic violence against Mr. Depp?
Calls for a legal conclusion and irrelevant to these proceedings.
I did my best to defend myself and not get seriously hurt or be a doormat to whom this happens to all the time.
Isn't it true, Ms. Heard, that you previously confessed and apologized to Johnny Depp for committing domestic violence against him?
I'm going to object. Calls for a legal conclusion, argumentative, harassing.
Do you notice that she likes the same kind of attorney? He's objecting every time and then accuses her of harassing her.
Isn't it true that you had previously told
And being argumentative.
Johnny Depp that you had hit him?
I'm going to object. It's a different question. It's vague and ambiguous, vague as to time.
Many times when we fought, well, not many times, he hit me for a very long time before I ever
I'm going to
picked up
object
my
as
arms.
non-responsive and move to strike. Ms. Heard, I'd like you to listen to what I'm about to play. Would you do that?
Now pay close attention to this. Is a convenient time for start shoving stuff in her face. I understand that she wasn't trying to eat anything before, and now all of a sudden when she's going to play audio, she knows it's coming. She's going to decide to eat something, which is a tactic that your attorney can tell you to do, to put something in your mouth to give you time to think about what you want to say before you answer. Okay? We're not dumb out here. There she goes. See?
I don't even know if I said, I might have said, like, what the, whatever, because I just been hit in the head with the corner of the door.
I'm so sorry, I did not. I'm sorry.
I know that stuff.
Do you recognize the voices on that tape? Mm-hmm. And who are the people on that tape?
It's Johnny and I.
Okay. And is Johnny describing an act where you made a door go into his head?
Objection, harassing, argumentative, vague.
I was trying to escape from a room where Johnny was attacking me. And in order to escape, I was trying to get onto the other.
Now, I want all of you to listen to what she says. She's trying to escape a room where Johnny is attacking her. Okay, so let your mind settle there for a second. That means she's in a room, inside a room with Johnny, and he's attacking her.
Other side of the door, attempting to close the door, and he was attempting to get in despite my attempts to try and escape an assault.
Now he's trying to get in as she's trying to escape the assault. If she's already in another room, just think about that for a minute. Think about how she said that. I mean, it's so important to think about how she tried to
Where Johnny was attacking me.
Made a door go into his head?
Objection, harassing, argumentative, vague.
Oh God, whatever.
I was trying to escape from a room where Johnny was.
Now she's trying to escape from the room where Johnny was attacking her. She's trying to escape it, right? That's what she said right here.
Attacking me. And in order to escape, I was trying to get onto the other side of the door, attempting to close.
Now she's trying to get on the other side of the door. So she's in a room. She's opened the door. She's trying to go through the doorway to get on the other side of the door.
Close the door, and he was attempting to get in despite my attempts to try and escape an assault.
Isn't it true that on this tape that was just played, you tell Johnny Depp you're sorry?
Yes.
Okay.
And then you well,
I remember hitting you as a response to the door thing.
Did you just tell Johnny Depp in that recording that I remember hitting you as a response to the door thing?
Yes, as he was trying to get into the door, into the room, I was trying to escape in. He pushed the door into me, and I was trying to hit him by getting him out of the door to stay in the room.
And you told him in that tape recording that you hit him, correct?
I don't know what words I used in that. You can play it back if you want, but I don't remember exactly how long.
If you wouldn't mind if you'll continue to listen.
Okay.
I'm really sorry about hitting you with the door or hitting your head.
Did you tell Johnny Depp at that time you were speaking to him that you were really sorry for hitting him with the door, hitting him?
I think in that recording I made it very clear that I was sorry that the door hit him while he was trying to get into the room I was escaping or attempting to escape into.
Now remember they're talking about the incidents where the door scraped her toes. Johnny was in the bathroom taking a shower. She comes banging on the door. He has to get out of the shower. You know, it takes him a few minutes. She's beating on the door. Then he said he like cracked the door or something to talk to her. I'd have to go back and listen to this again. But I remember he said she tried to shove open the door and he was pushing back on it and it scraped the top of her toes and she yelped out. So he cracked open the door to look at her toes. She kicks the door into his head, bangs into his front of his head. And then whenever the door opens up even more because he's shocked he's been hitting the head with the door, she then punches him in the freaking face. This is that they're talking about. And now she's acting like she's the one trying to keep him out of the room. And then she tries to excuse the fact that she punched him, but it was just her trying to keep him pushed back from getting in the room she was in. I don't think anybody's trying to get into the same room as the person is if they're trying to use that as a way to escape. It is so convoluted, it's confusing to even say it.
I will mark, excuse me.
And now if you see, and every time I pause on this, it'll bring these up and I apologize for that. But if you think about look at how now she's thinking, how much more of this do they have? Like, okay, I've already planted myself in a corner.
I'd like you to listen to the following tape. This is punched and we need to have.
Are they being marked as exhibits?
Yeah, mark as exhibit.
We just marked P as the one we just played,
Okay.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay?
I
Marking
have-
the next thing that I'm going to play to you as cue. Would you listen to this, please? This is punching.
Hurry up, get the food in.
It says punching.
So
Let's skip
just,
on.
just here you are. Anyway, I opened the bathroom door when you were knocking on it.
This is the punching.
I'll be with you till I open.
Where's the disc?
And you just kept going, you just kept going, kept going. I tried to close the door 3 times. You know, please, just don't let, you know, and then wait, and then I accidentally, I swear, when I was trying to close the door, I guess it stretched your toes. I didn't mean to do that. I bent down.
See her brows go in right at the end. She's trying to remember, scrape my toes. So that makes me feel like that she knew that she lied about him scraping her toes. And she's like trying to think back, wait a minute, when was the toe scraping? I think that's just a way to trying to get him to open the door.
You pushed 3 times. You know, please, just don't let, you know, and then wait, and then I accidentally, I swear, when I was trying to close the door, I guess it stretched your toes.
See, right there.
I didn't mean to do that.
That's like when, and then she looks up like, what is he talking about?
I bent down. And you either pushed or you kicked the door open. I mean, say, put the door, get more open. So that we could.
No, I didn't mean to. I did not mean to. But I did not mean to do that.
I was bent down behind the door.
I did not do anything to her. I did not kick at the door or push the door so that it would hit you. I did not. I swear, but I mean, that did not. It was not my intention. I think I remember when the door scraped my toes.
Okay. So you told him in that excerpt that you hit him with the door but did not intend to hit him, correct?
Recording speaks for itself.
Did you say that?
I said whatever I said in that recording. I
Okay.
don't, when you play it for me.
See, and that's what's wrong with that position. He is literally answering for her and then basically telling her what she needs to say. That he said the tape speaks for itself. Then the lawyer says, "Is that what you said?" Well, I said whatever's on the tape. See what
It's hard for
happens
me to
there?
remember every single.
And that's a recording marked as exhibit, the punching.
Q that we
Q.
just played.
Q. Would you continue to listen to exhibit Q?
Are these from the same day?
I reacted, but this whole the door thing, I remember. I never did that. That wasn't on purpose. I might have done it on accident.
Okay. So let's say that was an accident. I then stood up. I don't even know if I said, I might have said, like, what the you know, whatever. Because I just been hit in the head with the corner of the door.
I'm so sorry. I did not. I'm sorry.
And then I stood up. And then you clocked.
I remember hitting you as a
Look at her face when he says you clocked me. She punched him in the face, and her idea of that is to laugh and smile. But while she's sitting on the stand today, all of a sudden it's like, it's so evil to me.
response to the door thing.
That's exactly what I just told us.
That is not what you told her. You told her you were the one in the room trying to get away from him. He just said he was the one behind the door and you were pounding on it, trying to get in. He opens the door and then he shoves it back, tries to shut the door and scrapes her toes. And then he opens the door and she punches him in the face. That's him trying to get away from you, homie.
And I'm really sorry about hitting you with the door or hitting your head. I did not mean to, nor.
You didn't mean to hit me in the head with the door, but you meant to
I did
punch me in the jaw.
I meant to hit you, and I did not do this thing with the door. I do remember, I did mean to hit you.
So that you didn't mean.
The door? No, God, no, I
But punching me in the jaw.
I mean, and that's so, think about that. She's like, oh, well, I didn't mean, of course I didn't mean to kick the door, hit you in the head with the door. He's like, what about the punch in the face? Oh, well, you know, I did mean to do that. Like, what?
And I did not do this thing with the door. I do remember, I did mean to hit you.
So that you didn't mean.
The door? No, God, no, I didn't.
But punching me in the jaw.
I didn't. Okay, I'm sorry.
So on the tape, you tell Johnny Depp that you did mean to hit him.
Objection, that's argumentative, and it misstates what the recording was.
And it also misrepresents what actually.
Misrepresents. So remember, this was recorded in August of 2016. Her TRO was in May. This is like less than 3 months after all this has went down. Not 6 years later, 3 months.
Happened, which is him trying to get into a room I'm trying to keep him out of, and then he runs the door over my toes, trying to get into the room. I try to push him out of it, which is what the hit is referred to. And Johnny, whenever he was injured or touched, it always referred to it in these ways of punching or clocked or whatever. And whether you didn't discuss it with him or not, the last thing you do in talking to him afterwards or trying to reconcile with him is to get into what the definition.
Look how she's smiling and like just the grin on her face when she's talking about this. Well, she's on the stand talking about just how we talked to her, and she's acting like she can't even shed a tear, but she's trying to act like it's the worst thing in the world. Which, don't get me started on that, and I'll maybe go and review that, because within the first 3 minutes of her testifying, she buried herself into a hole.
Of those words mean to him.
Just say what
So
happened.
I never even addressed it. He would, if he was ever pushed, it was a cold. He called it a cold clock. I mean, it's just very dramatic.
Isn't
about
it true, Ms. Heard, that in September of
If I put my hands on him, he was just being dramatic.
2015, you punched Johnny Depp in the face with a closed fist?
Oh no, now we got the food. Let me think. Give me time to think. Let me chew this piece of food for 20 minutes. Look,
I hit-
the lawyer saved me.
I hit Johnny one time when he. Sorry, I'll wait.
No, you answer the question. Please stop whispering because it's distracting over here.
Wow.
It's your team.
No, I was referring
No,
to
these
this
two.
actually.
I can't hear.
See that little smirk she does right there? I want everybody to pay attention to that little smirk she does when they was like, it's your team, because her team's over there objecting to every damn thing. We've seen this in the last 3 weeks. I mean, hell, she's got herself. She loves the team of objections. But watch this little smirk she does. She's done this several times where she did this even in some movie interviews she's done, premieres she's done, where like it's what she does.
Distracting over
Look
here.
It's your team.
No, I was referring
No,
to
these
this
two.
actually.
I can't hear them. I hear them.
Went
So please answer the question.
Martin and women.
Yes or no? Did you ever
No.
punch Johnny?
Look at that face. Let's like women, you know, women that are like that, like, yeah, bitch. We all know them.
Johnny Depp with a closed fist in the
Question. Please stop whispering because it's distracting over here.
It's your team.
No, I was referring
No,
to
these
this
two.
actually.
I can't hear them. I hear
I
them.
can't hear them.
So please answer the question.
yes or no? Did you ever
No.
punch Johnny Depp with a closed fist in the history of your relationship with Johnny?
Answer it however you feel you wish to.
Thank you. One time, Johnny was hitting me, and he was hitting me.
Now I'm gonna let this one play through. I'm gonna set the stage. Right now, what she's about to talk about, you heard Johnny Depp's security guy. I think it's Tyler. I think that's his name. Hang on. Travis. You're about to hear security guy Travis. Remember the one with the real nice gray beard? We heard his testimony about this day where they're on the stairs and he gets in between Amber and Johnny, and Whitney's back there somewhere. And they're starting to argue. It's the whole thing with the closet where he threw down some racks of her clothes. She was throwing like shit at him, and then she laughed, blah, 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 blah. On the stand, he testifies that while he's standing in between her and him, Amber reaches like stretches her arm, reaches over his shoulder and punches Johnny in the face And that's when Travis was like, nope, I've let him get hit. I'm getting him out of here. It's my job to protect him. And she's hit him now. This is the story now she's going to tell about what happened that day with Whitney. Now, remember, Whitney's ex-boss as wrote her deposition whenever it came to the UK trial and told him how Whitney had tried to tell everybody that she had to go sleep on the floor somewhere. And that one was like, whatever, she slept in my spare bedroom, and told that Whitney told her that she couldn't believe that, she was scared that Amber was really going to hurt Johnny. I can bring up all this shit. Anything y'all want to know, you let me know. I just don't want to recover stuff y'all probably found on the 50 million other channels covering this shit. I've been following this case for a couple years. So yeah, it's out there.
Hard and repeatedly. And I was screaming. Security walks in and they don't do anything about it.
Do anything.
And he makes this motion when Jerry Judge yells boss, or Sean, I can't remember who it was. And all we had was a little bit of separation, and my sister runs down the stairs. We're on a landing in between two flights of stairs.
Ms. Heard, I must interrupt you,
You can't.
because I've
You
asked
can't.
you a yes
Then
or no question.
withdraw your question then, because
Ms.
she's
Heard,
answering.
prior to today's date, have you ever hit Johnny Depp?
Answer it however you wish. You've already asked, and she's already answered, and you interrupted her.
Ms. Heard, have you ever hit Johnny Depp prior to today?
Objection, Vegas to times.
Hey, everyone on this side of the room, please.
Objection 352. It's not relevant to the domestic violence proceeding.
Overruled.
I swear to you, he says objection, not relevant to the domestic violence. But they're literally talking about her hitting him, and they try to say it's not relevant to this domestic violence deposition. And the judge has to be like, overruled. And that's the first time you hear his counsel kind of like laugh, like, are you kidding me?
Please.
Objection 352. It's not relevant to the domestic violence proceeding.
Overruled.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Answer it however you want to, including the way you were just, if
I'm
you
asking
wish.
for a yes or no answer.
You don't have to answer it the way she wants you to answer it.
He was about to push my sister down the stairs. She was attempting to break us up. I am protective over my baby sister. When he laid hands on her, I don't know what I did, but I know I jumped in between the actions that I saw could lead to a fatal injury to my sister. She was standing on the top of a flight of stairs, and she has never hurt anyone in her life, and she does not deserve to be pushed down the flight of stairs. And it looked like she was about to be. And I would have done what anybody who has a child or a sister would have done. I acted defensively in her life. I saw her standing on top of a flight of stairs and trying to interrupt a fight in between him and I. I don't know what part of my body I put in between me and him and her.
She didn't put anything. His bodyguard is what stood in between them. And then she punched Johnny in the Depp over his shoulder.
But I would have done anything. I would have done anything to prevent her from being pushed down a flight of stairs.
Now,
Who did
imagine.
you observe taking drugs at the wedding?
Imagine that now this is the same person on the stand 6 years later. So for 6 years, she's had the opportunity to figure out what story she's going to tell, all the different stories she has said over the last 6 years, the kind of questions they could ask her, yada, 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 yada. Okay. So we've seen that one. Now today, hang on, let me bring this one up because we're going to keep going with this just for a few. And just because I think it's important to try and bring all this together, trying to string this stuff together is so haphazardly with the different stories and testimonies and stuff. I'm going to play for you the testimony of his bodyguard that was the one that actually went in there that day and witnessed what was happening and what he says happened. That was there. And this is the one in that audio tape where she said, yeah, go get Travis, go F Travis, go suck his F. Yeah. That's what she had to say. But anyway, so the reason why they're more credible is because this Travis guy will even admit, like, yeah, Johnny flung down her racks of clothes. So it's not like they're they're trying, it feels like they're not trying to cover something up. They'll say the bad things he's done, whether it be the drugs or like flinging down the clothes, or even in this testimony, I've skipped up 50, but in this previous 56 seconds, he was like, oh, they were both yelling. They were both mad. They were both saying things to each other. So like, you know what I mean? He's not like, oh, Johnny was the golden child in all this. She was just a vicious witch. Now he'll say that they were arguing.
Miss Heard and her sister at that time, Whitney, had come in. They were both on the middle level, the office level. And I saw Miss Heard throw a Red Bull can from her position that struck Mr. Depp in the back.
Anything else that you recall?
At that point, I moved closer to Mr. Depp. I didn't care that I was in the middle of their conversation at that point. I didn't want my client getting hit with anything else. So I stood right by Mr. Depp. The verbal onslaught continued from both of them. Mr. Depp was giving as good as he got at that point. He was.
This is what I mean. As much as she talked crap about this Travis guy behind his back, see what he's saying? He's like, he gave as good as he got with the verbal stuff. They were slinging it back and forth. His side is not trying to make him out to be like this superhero. Like he is saying he was yelling at her too. That's what makes it more believable. Because we know that he's not just going to stand there and be called everything. He's going, but if he's drinking, he's going to be like, well, fuck you too, bitch. Well, you know, we all would.
He was angry and agitated. At one point, Miss Heard threw something else, either a purse or some sort of bag or something that she had up there. I was able to knock it away so it didn't hit him. At one point, she spit at him. Yeah, and then just a lot of verbal vitriol from both of them.
What do you remember Miss Heard saying to Mr. Depp on this occasion?
Jeez. Anything and everything. Specifically, there was you're washed up. You're which he called her as well. You're.
See what I mean? See what I mean? He's like, oh, he did it as well. Sorry about that. And I'm not editing it out because I don't know how to freaking edit. I need an editor.
Again, the deadbeat dad. Yeah, I don't even remember what the fight was about, but it was pretty. The F word is my favorite word, and it was being thrown around to the point where I was uncomfortable.
Okay, so now I'm gonna bring up the next. Hang on. Okay, this is the part where he said the F word got slung around where he was uncomfortable. We're gonna start here, and you can hear what happened. Remember, this is the fight in her deposition that that came up in the court hearing about at the apartments when the sister got involved. And we're going to listen to I want you to hear this because this will come up as well. So I think it's important to hear what another person has to say about a situation.
So.
And how did Mr. Depp respond to Miss?
I'm sorry. At the end of her deposition, this is what she's talking about the sister. I'd have done anything to protect my sister. He was there that day. He was there as well. This is what he said.
Heard's behavior.
Oh, he was mad. He was upset, especially after she tried to spit on him. At one point, Miss Heard and her sister left Penthouse 5. I imagine they went into Penthouse 4 or possibly over to Penthouse 3. I don't know. They were all adjoining. Mr. Depp went upstairs and rearranged her closet for her, threw down probably every rack of clothing and shoes, threw at least one down the stairs. Yeah, he
I don't understand why it's freezing. Let me try and do something about that.
he was upset.
It's got to be on their end. Sorry about
Where
that.
was Miss Heard when Mr. Depp rearranged her closet, as you said?
Can't say for sure, but she was not in Penthouse 5. She was either in 4 or 3.
And you mentioned Miss Heard's sister, Whitney. Do you recall when she arrived in the evening?
So Whitney wasn't there when we first all walked into Penthouse 5. When Miss Lloyd and I stepped out to give them some space, she must have, excuse me, she must have come in at some point because she was in there when we walked back.
Let's see.
Did you see Miss Heard again that evening after Mr. Depp was in her closet?
I did, yeah. She must have heard what was going on and not been too pleased. So she shortly after re-entered Penthouse 5 as I was trying to get Mr. Depp out of there.
And what happened at that point?
So her and her sister both came back in. We were on the middle level, so her office level of Penthouse 5 at that point. She was agitated. Mr. Depp was agitated. I felt it was time to get Mr. Depp out of the situation, so I stepped in between Miss Heard and Mr. Depp, telling Mr. Depp that we were leaving and that it wasn't up to him anymore. At that point, out of the corner of my eye, I saw
And see that smashes through that. Oh, you're yes man. Oh, you'll do anything he says. He just said, I told him we were leaving. It wasn't up to him anymore. Because they've hired him to do the job, which is to protect him. And he didn't feel like he could protect him where he was.
fist and an arm come under my eye. I saw
This.
at that point, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a fist and an arm come across my right shoulder, and I heard and saw a closed fist contact Mr. Depp in the left side of his face.
And whose fist was that?
That was Miss Heard's fist, Amber Heard's fist.
And where was Whitney when this occurred?
Can't say for sure, but I'm guessing, or my best guess is behind Amber.
How did Mr. Depp respond when he was punched?
The initial look on his face kind of mirrored mine, kind of a look of shock, like what just happened, where'd that come from? At that point, I wasn't going to let Mr. Depp get hit anymore, so I moved him down the last flight of stairs to the lower level, and told him we're leaving. It wasn't up to him anymore, just for his safety. I didn't. Again, I had let him get hit by a Red Bull can. I let him get punched. My job is to ensure the safety and well-being of my clients, and I felt like I hadn't done that. So,
Okay, well, you've got the gist there. She's punched him in that situation where she testified in a deposition that she hit him to protect her sister, and he was the one standing in between her and him. So yeah, that doesn't jive well for her. And now we're going to go to this. That was, and I have to give a huge shout out because yes, he uploaded today. This incredibly average guy If you don't know who he is, you need to go sub to this guy and go watch the videos he produced 2 years ago. I have gave him a lot of shout outs on this channel and will continue to do that. He has done some of the best work, in my opinion. The early time, 2 years ago about this case, I mean, it's amazing. I've used his stuff with his permission many a times because it's such good work. But here he uploaded this today, and this is more for deposition. I could find this, so shout out to him. But she's about to talk about when she was arrested for domestic violence against her then partner. And she tried. I will stop. I will tell you where she's full of shit. Okay, I'll tell you because
Isn't it true that you've been previously arrested for committing domestic violence against your spouse?
I'm going to irrelevant, harassing, has nothing to do with this proceeding. It's argumentative.
Now imagine objecting to saying it has nothing to do with this proceeding. This proceeding's all about domestic violence. And they're asking her if she got a history of it. Wow.
Go ahead and explain how you want to.
There was no domestic violence within that relationship, and the state of Washington, where I was arrested, immediately dropped the charges because they knew the exact same thing that I just told you, that no domestic violence ever occurred. And
that's not true. They threw that case out because it happened in Washington. They were residents of California, and they didn't want to have to deal with the flipping paperwork because they were out of state. That's why the case was thrown out. It wasn't thrown out because the state of Washington didn't believe that some domestic violence happened.
my ex has stated such. In fact, it was so ridiculous.
And look how snarky she is right here. I just look at how she's acting. Remember, folks, this is 3 months after, not even 3 months after she filed the TRO. This is right after all these things she said happened to her. And look at how she's acting towards these people.
In fact, it was so ridiculous, those charges. It was a verbal argument, it was misinterpreted, misrepresented, and completely overreacted upon by two individuals in a power.
No, we've heard this part before, overreacted, huh? And, you know, he was always overreacting anytime I put my hands on him. He was so dramatic when I was physically assaulting him. You know, he was a pussy. But me, I mean, he could look at me sideways and, you know, it's so horrible. You know, come the hell on.
Position, and as soon as they found out, overreacted upon.
Missed that. Then she tries to be like people in positions of power. She was an actress. She treated people like they were beneath her all the time. And then she's going to start talking about positions of power. Like now, look, she's going to try and degrade the damn police officers. Which then she'll bring this up again. One of the officers was a female officer. They tried to call her homophobic, and she was a damn lesbian. That made it into the news.
By two individuals in a power position, and as soon as they found out that we were partners, which we were not going to be arrested for before, as soon as they found out we were partners, the male cop, not this other woman who's later been brought in.
Now listen to what she's stating here. She's stating that the only reason why they were arrested is because they were partners. And the male cop, when he found out that they were partners, that's why they got arrested. So it doesn't matter if they were, you know, she put her hands on just her friend. Like this is nuts.
Into the press.
By the way, nobody called the cops. The cops witnessed this happen, saw this happen.
This male cop put me in handcuffs, and
you know what? She sounds a lot like that forensic psychologist that they brought in, that referred to every victim as she, and the perpetrator as he. If that's not gender bias, I don't know what was.
And that's there was no physical violence, no physical abuse, and zero domestic violence whatsoever between us. It was a trumped up charge, and it was dropped immediately for being such.
Isn't it?
You say, what's your face? And it was dropped immediately for being such, that snarky bitch face. Like, nah. She spent the night in jail, dropped immediately.
And it was dropped immediately for being such.
Isn't it a fact?
Snarky shit. I can show you where she did that. when she was being interviewed by people and somebody walked into the room, how she looked them up and down like they were beneath her. Like, listen, we all know these people. She's exhibiting every characteristic if she thinks her shit don't stink. Huh,
Miss-
maybe that's why she pooped the bed.
Heard that in fact on September 24th, 2009, you were arrested for domestic violence committed against Tasha Van Ray.
Asked and answered. Isn't that what you
Same
just talked about?
objections.
Did I miss something?
Isn't it a fact, Ms. Heard, that on September 14th, you were in fact taken to jail? It wasn't dropped immediately.
Same objections, Vegas would
Same objections.
Isn't it a fact, Ms. Heard, that you spent the night
And watch your lawyer keep going over here to touch her. He's sitting right here. Like, I mean, it's so unprofessional.
in jail from September 20?
He has to jump down her throat in a minute because she answers the question. She's like, let me object. I got to talk to her like she's a child.
September 14th to September 15th, 2009, as a result of your arrest for domestic violence.
Same objections. It's irrelevant.
Is that true?
352. She's already answered what happened. It's
Is that
vague.
true?
It's
did.
argumentative. It's harassing. You just want to.
Now, see, it's argumentative, it's harassing, and all this other bullshit. She's asking her if she spent the night in jail. That was never answered. She tried to say it was dropped immediately. Which, if you spend the night in jail, it's not dropped immediately.
Answer what happened. It's
Is that
vague.
true?
It's argumentative. It's harassing. You just want to, get your harassment in. Go ahead.
Let the record reflect Mr.
I just
Carter's
answered.
directing her not to answer. Did you
I
spend the night in
answered
jail?
you.
I never.
Now watch his high pitched voice go. I never did that. What has he been doing? If you were to remove yourself from this and listening to this, I don't care who they are. Would you not think that this attorney is doing everything he can to get her not to have to answer the questions? I mean, it speaks for itself. But watch
Mr. Carter's
how high pitched he gets, because that'll be held against her for refusing to answer.
directing her not to answer. Did you
I
spend the night in
answered
jail?
you.
I never said don't answer.
And watch the face. Don't forget this. Look at this. Paused it at a great spot. Watch the snarky, shitty face.
Directing her not to answer. Did you
I
spend the night in
answered you.
jail?
I never said don't answer. I never said that.
Reporter is about to.
That's not my fault.
Yes, it is.
Because she keeps cutting me off every time I say something.
There's no need to yell, Mr. Hardy.
Well, I have to be heard. Everyone's talking over.
There's no need to yell. He's like, I have to be heard. Everyone's talking over him. You have listened to this entire tape. You tell me if you think people are talking over her attorney or he's yelling over everybody else.
You've got a whole wall of lawyers over there who are talking over me.
May I continue?
except for Hans.
Can I say something?
Ms. Heard, Ms. Heard, isn't it a fact that Tasha Van Ray on September 14th, 2009 claimed to the police that you had hit her arm?
Same objection.
No?
I don't know anything about this.
Answer give a full answer, please.
I don't know anything about the claim that you just made about what Tasha said or did not say. I can't possibly know that. I know nothing about what you just said.
She doesn't know. She's just married. She had no idea what she said during this account. She's arrested. She has no idea. Okay.
Isn't it a fact that on September 14th, you hit Tasha Van Ray in her arm?
No.
Action.
Isn't it a fact on September 14th, you broke the necklace off of Tasha Van Ray's neck?
352,
A
it's
necklace.
irrelevant to these proceedings. Argumentative, harassing.
Isn't it a fact
There's an argumentative and harassing. Are we following along?
that Tasha Van Ray reported to the police that you had hit her arm?
352, irrelevant.
Watch him touch her. You see this touch her? He's touching her. So they can't, now remember, they can't do this shit in court right now. You don't have an attorney sitting this far off where he could touch your arm and say, don't say anything. And look at her face right here.
Vague, argumentative, and harassing.
And speculation.
Isn't it a fact, Ms.
It's
Heard,
heard still.
that you know very well
Is she going to bring this person to this trial?
that your spouse, that your domestic partner, Tasha Van Ray, requested that you be arrested for domestic violence?
Call, you need to please let me get my objection.
See, he just got mad at her and said, you need to let me get my objections in. See this shit?
Tasha Von Ray, requested that you be arrested for domestic violence.
Carlos, you need to please let me get my objections in, okay? Please.
Okay.
There's intimate relationships here relative to a variety of people, including a person called Tasha.
Tasha.
Who's she?
She was Miss Heard's wife.
Okay. And that relationship preceded her relationship with Mr. Depp?
That's correct.
Did you say on direct that you saw no previous inter-partner violence? Just yes or no?
I don't believe I did.
No. You don't believe that you saw inter-partner violence, or you didn't say it on direct?
I don't believe I said that yesterday.
Okay.
Interesting. I like Asmongold, by the way. He's funny. And I'm going to end off with this right here because we got to see a snippet of their expert witness. I thought that Law and Crime did a pretty good job after the break of kind of some of the points this one woman brought up. So I'm going to play a little bit of that. Maybe not. What's wrong with my volume? Oh no, hang on. Let me fix my volume. Hold on. Okay, it wasn't me. It was just they didn't have the audio on it yet.
This before we look at some of the prior testimony that happened. She testified, Dawn Hughes, that every time was asked that Amber became aggressive because she likely became destabilized by Johnny and therefore had no coping mechanism. But then when she was in therapy, she didn't mention any of these things to her therapist. Now she says they weren't mentioned because she was trying to protect Johnny. How does the jury view that kind of testimony from an expert witness when they're trying to get at what is the truth here?
It's a preposterous claim. And I would love to have seen the way the jury was looking when Dr. Hughes said that. Because Amber didn't, according to Dr. Hughes, leave out just one thing. She left out, according to strategically, think about that. She chose to leave out, according to Dr. Hughes, all of this information, all of this that could have been damaging to Johnny Depp. So she excluded all of that. So according to Dr. Hughes, it was a way for Dr. Hughes and Amber Heard to just write off what we would call omissions. These are significant omissions that you would expect a person in therapy to mention. And she didn't mention them because she, according to Amber Heard and Dr. Hughes, she was trying to, what? She was trying to protect Johnny Depp. It's not just one thing, not like one scratch in the face. She's claiming that she excluded multiple incidents of aggression by Johnny Depp because she didn't want Johnny Depp to be embarrassed. That's just preposterous. And if it's even remotely true, which it doesn't seem likely, it shows that, one, Dr. Hughes is willing to write off anything that's inconsistent with her claim that Amber suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder. And two, it seems as though it's an admission in one way or another that Amber is capable of manipulation, of omission, of changing her story, of adding and subtracting details at critical times to make her case.
So why don't we listen to a little bit of what happened in the courtroom, first from Dawn Hughes talking about Amber's PTSD diagnosis.
If you guys want to go back and listen to that, you can, that testimony. I just thought it was kind of important to play that little part because I thought he did a good job of kind of bringing that up, that she's willing to basically cover for, justify, say, oh, well, she just didn't say all this because of this, this, and this. So basically she'll excuse all of that behavior. Again, great expert witness. And I think that they'll bring Dr. Curry back up. Maybe they'll let her bring her filing cabinet like they did the Amber side. I mean, did you see all the folders she brought into court and literally put her glasses on and then tried to say she wasn't looking at her notes? The only time that woman put on her glasses was to look through her notes. And anytime they objected and went back up in front of that judge, that's all she was doing was thumbing through those papers. So remember, even that Curry had asked Amber Heard's side when they kept asking her questions about her report. She said, well, if I had my report, you know, it would refresh my memory. I did, and they would let her. Oh, they just move on, move on. Anyways, there's some of the deposition. There's some of what happened. I think some of that stuff's interesting. It's been a crazy trial. Yeah, I don't think anybody's buying Amber Heard's, you know, dramatic reading on that stand. And by the way, Johnny Depp will not look at her. Lastly, I'll show you some of this because I thought they were funny. Oh my God, like her dressing like him. Somebody found this. I'm sorry. That's hilarious. Okay. And then I knew this was going to happen. Remember, she's so controlling. He didn't want me to show wear any kind of clothes that revealed anything. So I knew this was coming. So of course somebody finds all these. You know, this turned 2015, side boob and all. No, but he hated it whenever she exposed any of her skin. Yep, looks like it there. Yep, well, by God, I don't know. Well, Yep, and sitting there in her underwear. Yep, okay. And then we have that, yep, no bra on, just a blazer cover. Okay, then, you know, but he was hell no, bitch, put some clothes on. Okay, that makes perfect sense. And then we're going to go here. I'll probably use that as my thumbnail, to be quite honest with you, because that's just beautiful. And then we had, they said the cameraman is the effing MVP, where they did that during the trial where they showed her sitting back there behind Johnny Depp and them listening to her testimony. It was just hilarious, especially whenever Amber Heard's side called her name. That was hilarious. Okay, and then it says, Amber, I was not a fan of Johnny Depp. I didn't watch his movies. Yo, Amber, is this you at his movie premiere? Like, I mean, come on. And then, okay, clown. That's one word. This, I'm sorry, but this was just so funny. I'm going to play it for you. Probably going to boost the volume because it is. I don't know why this stuff is so low, guys. I have no idea, but everything I'm playing now is just super low.
I don't remember feeling pain or like awareness of my nose or anything. I just started blasting his face.
I'm sorry.
And I don't even.
Funny. I mean, she's got the meme culture after her. I mean, that's just, it's, you know, and her PR showed up in court, by the way. I didn't know who that was and kind of had to message it out. There's a video, I think Umbrella Guy played it in his video where she had the manila thing of papers that she left conveniently on the desk. And I believe there's video of him picking it up. So she literally writing notes and handing it off to her PR person while they're in court. Don't see how that's okay. But anyway, there's some for today. There's so much more of this stuff. But thanks for tuning in, and let me know below if you want me to do anything else. And if not, I'll do what I want to do, and hopefully y'all like it. Have a good one.